breaking news that's coming in today. The ED has filed the first charge sheet against Congress leaders Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi in the money laundering case related to the National Herald case. This is the big breaking news coming in. For the very first time, the ED files a charge sheet in the National Herald case in which now they have named Sonia and Rahul Gandhi. The first charge sheet, ED files the prosecution complaint in which Sonia Gandhi, Sam Pitroda and Rahul Gandhi's name come. The charge sheet has also been filed against Congress leader Sonia Gandhi. The ED has filed its charge sheet in the AJL case. Remember, viewers, this has been known as the National Herald case that had been filed, and this is the big breaking news coming in. The Enforcement Directorate files. I'd also like to go across to my colleagues on the story, because this is a story we're going to stay with. We're going to get some phone reactions on this big breaking news. For the very first time, if my directors can really put this out for our for the understanding of the desk, the ED had started proceedings of possession to be taken on that 700 crore worth of properties of Associate Journals Limited that was controlled by Sonia and Rahul Gandhi. Now the big breaking news coming in, ED files its first charge sheet in the National Herald case. All properties in prime locations have also been taken in. This is the big breaking news that's coming in that we are getting for our viewers right now as we are speaking. And let's just put this into perspective for us. The ED files its first big charge sheet against the Gandhis. I want to also get a sense, first charge sheet against Gandhis. And let's tell our viewers, earlier the properties were, the possession was being taken of more than 700 crore worth of properties. Now in prime locations, those properties had been taken care of. Let's also tell you what ED had earlier stated when this investigation had begun. The ED had stated investigation has conclusively revealed Young Indian, which was the private company, viewers, that was beneficially owned by Sonia and Rahul Gandhi, acquired AGL properties worth 2,000 crores for a mere 50 lakh rupees, significantly undervaluing it. ED had also stated Young Indian and AGL's properties were used for generation of proceeds of crime in the form of bonus donations of 18 crore rupees, bonus advance rents of 38 crore rupees, and bogus advertisement of 29 crore rupees. Now, for the very first time, the big news coming in, the ED has filed its charge sheet that is also naming Priyanka Gandhi and Robert Gandhi. Shavan Sen, my colleague, joining us from the Republic newsroom. Shavan, it doesn't get more massive than this. What are the details that you can share with us?
Well, in fact, Rhythm, we're just getting in some more details of the charge sheet that was filed a week ago. The charge sheet, in fact, hasn't been taken, the cognizance of the charge sheet hasn't been taken as yet. But the details that we're getting from this particular charge sheet that has been filed is, one, that Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi has been named as an accused in the charge sheet that has been filed. Number two, with regards to the properties that were basically attached by the Enforcement Directorate, this is what I'm picking up from my sources with regards to the charge sheet that has been filed. They are clearly stating, and I'm quoting from the details of the charge sheet. Now, as part of the process to take possession of the tainted properties in the Associated Journals Limited money laundering case, the Directorate of Enforcement has complied with Section 8 of the PMLA Act. In fact, they say that multiple notices have already been issued. They've taken possession of the National Herald building in the national capital. In fact, a notice has also been put out there. Apart from that, we're given to understand properties worth about 988 crore rupees have already been seized, and this fines are mentioned in the charge sheet that has been mentioned, that has been filed by the Enforcement Directorate. This comes across as a big setback because, remember, this is the supplementary charge sheet that has been filed in the AJL case, and the allegation essentially was, number one, with regards to the fact that the properties that they had got was at a much lower rate. In fact, the loan that was basically given to AJL was through a diversionary tactic benefiting the Congress party itself. In fact, at a much lower rate, the loan was basically provided. Now, why does this come across as a big trouble for Sonia Gandhi as well as Rahul Gandhi? Remember, they have been questioned in the past, but here you have a charge sheet that has now been filed against the Gandhis. And this is the second such charge sheet that has already been filed by the Enforcement Directorate.
In fact, Shravan, I would also like to ask you, the earlier charge sheet, did it also mention Rahul and Sonia Gandhi, and also, of course, the late Motilal Vora, the late Oscar Fernandez, Suman Dubey were there, Sam Pitroda was there, Young Private Company, Young Indian was there, the involvement of money laundering scheme related to the properties valued at 2,000 crore rupees belonging to AJL. The legal proceedings we've seen in the Delhi High Court, the Supreme Court, the investigations had begun. But this time, Shravan, it becomes more massive, as Shravan, this time Rahul Gandhi and Sonia Gandhi have been charge sheeted.
Well, in fact, in this particular charge sheet, they have specifically focused on the alleged role of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. And if I may quote from the details of the charge sheet that we have accessed, this is what they say, that from the investigation, they have conclusively revealed that Young Indian, which is a private company that beneficially owned by Sonia Gandhi, and Rahul Gandhi acquired AJL properties worth about 2,000 crore rupees for a mere 50 lakh rupees, significantly undervaluing the worth. Now, in fact, what has essentially happened is that the transaction details or the circuitous manner in which the transaction has actually taken place finds a mention in this particular charge sheet, and it directly names Sonia Gandhi as well as Rahul Gandhi with certain instructions that were provided to others whom you have already mentioned a short while back. So, of course, as far as this charge sheet goes, it elaborates on the role of Sonia Gandhi as well as Rahul Gandhi and the alleged instructions that were basically passed by the top brass of the Congress party, which included Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi. So, of course, if you to answer your question, that this undoubtedly means more trouble for both the leaders, because in the past you haven't the role of others were elaborated but not that of Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi.
Absolutely. In fact, we were to go on to read what the ED has stated, Shravan. It says that it indicates the Young Indian and the AJL properties were used for generations, and I would also request my desk to start getting us reactions. The next hearing in the case on the 25th of April, the ED is set to take over the 700 crore rupees worth of Gandhi's assets as we are speaking. The complaint is against Sam Pitroda. Charge sheet files its charge sheet in the National Herald case. And the big breaking news, as we are staying with this also coming in, this is the first ED and I would say prosecution complaint. Shravan, for viewers who are joining in, this is the first ED FIR, so as to say, against the Gandhis. It's going to haunt them now, Shravan.
Rhythm, I'll just request you to perhaps take it a little forward, as I'm also just getting in some more details from the Enforcement Directorate right now. Confirmation now coming in that the charge sheet was filed about a week ago, but the reason why more details haven't emerged so far is only because the court hasn't taken cognizance of the charge sheet.
Absolutely. And Shravan, for viewers joining in, let's also tell them, more often than not, the court does take cognizance. So it's mostly like a technicality, especially in such cases where the ED has gone into great details. So the action earlier of taking possession of all the properties, also Shravan, of AJL, once also controlled by Congress, comes after ED questioned all the parties. We remember at the ED office, and we'll show those visuals, when questioning had been done of Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, also former Congress Treasurer Motilal Vora. ED began the investigation in this case in 2021. I remember after the Metropolitan Magistrate took cognizance of the private complaint by Subramaniam Swamy. All right.